Hey folks, Alex McMahon here of Evolve Nutritional Therapy, and today is going to be the third and final video in our series on 9 tips for structuring a successful diet. So tip number 7 is going to be to look at your meal frequency. Now, your meal frequency, which is the amount of meals that you eat throughout the day, has no effect on your metabolism or your ability to lose fat. The idea that smaller, more frequent meals boost your metabolism comes from what's called the thermic effect of food. And the thermic effect of food is the amount of calories that your body actually has to burn to extract energy from the food that you're eating. Now, people thought that the more frequently you ate, the more you would boost your metabolism throughout the day, meaning that you burned more calories. However, what we've learned really matters at the end of the day is your total calories and the amount of proteins, fats, and carbohydrates that you're eating in total. Now, whether you decide to have 3 larger meals or 6 smaller meals throughout the day, with the exact calories and macronutrients matched, your body will actually have to burn just as many calories to digest the 2 larger meals as the 6 smaller meals. Now, generally, people have a harder time when they eat less than 2 meals throughout the day and more than 6. So anywhere in between the 2 and 6 meal range should work very well for most people. However, at the end of the day, what's going to be one of the largest factors is the number of meals that you eat should come down to what suits your lifestyle and your preferences best. So maybe you're someone who does really well with 3 larger square meals. Maybe you're somebody who does really well with 2 much larger meals throughout the day. And maybe you're someone who wants to eat like 4 to 5 medium-sized meals throughout the day. All of those are totally fine. And what really matters the most is what works the best for you and what fits into and suits your lifestyle best. Now, tip number 8 is going to be to reduce snacking. Now, when you're dieting, snacks never actually fill you up to the degree that they have you eat less at the next meal or change your eating structure at all. Snacking all the time also makes it much more difficult to know how much you're actually eating, and it also leaves you focusing on food more frequently throughout the day, and it leaves you hungrier than you actually will need to be. Now, the calories from those snacks could instead be added to your meals to create a greater satiety and to leave you feeling much fuller for a much longer period of time. Now, if you're a frequent grazer or avid snacker, start to try to reduce the frequency of your snacks throughout the day. So maybe instead of 3 snacks, you have 2, and then add those calories and that food to your meals. Over time, try to make the transition to having 3 to 4 larger meals throughout the day, and try to reduce your snacking so that you have a better grip on how much you're actually eating throughout the day, and so that you're not overly food focused while you're trying to diet to lose body fat. Tip number 9, and probably one of the most important tips in my opinion, is to follow the 80-20 principle of flexibility. Now, this means a majority of your foods, 80 to 90%, are still coming from nutrient-dense whole foods. They're going to be much higher in nutrients, they're going to be more filling, and they're going to have lower calories than other more processed foods. Now, once you're nailing a minimum of 80% of your foods coming from the vegetables, the fruits, the quality proteins, the starches, and the healthy fats, we have a little bit of breathing room to play with the remainder of the 20%. Now, keep in mind, that 20% doesn't need to be junk food either. It can be something a little bit more indulgent, like a fattier cut of steak with mashed potatoes, or maybe a beer along with it if you drink. The thing is, when you use the 80-20 principle, it helps to remove the feeling of being deprived and what a lot of people experience on the typical diet, which is long-term deprivation and then an eventual binge and then shame and guilt and then hopping back on a diet. When people have greater flexibility in their plan and they know that they have some indulgences kind of baked into the pie already, then it makes it much easier for them to adhere to that 80% because they know that they can tap into that 20 when they need to. And the psychological freedom to know that you can kick your heels up from time to time is also going to make it much easier for a lot of people to adhere to that 80 to 90% of the time when they are trying to eat more nutrient-dense whole foods. Lastly, this just provides a much more balanced approach to nutrition, and it helps to remove the fear and anxiety that some people have developed over certain macronutrients like fats or carbohydrates and things like that. So it helps people to ease their anxiety a little bit and to develop a much more healthy relationship with food. And it also helps to reinforce that one single meal isn't going to make somebody lean in the exact same way that having one meal with more carbs or more fats isn't going to make them gain a ton of body fat. Now, if one single meal isn't going to make us lean, then one more indulgent meal isn't going to make us fat. And if one of those is true, they both have to be true. And that's one thing that I help people recognize all the time in my own personal private practice, is that it's more about what you do more frequently rather than the blips along the way. It's more about your trends and what you're doing the 80% of the time than it is the 20% of the time. However, people choose to focus on the 20% and let that be what derails them. Again, I want to thank you guys a ton for taking the time out of your day to watch these 9 tips to structuring a successful diet. If you'd like to connect with me on social media, you can find me on Instagram at Evolve Nutritional Therapy. You can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Evolve Nutritional Therapy LLC. You can find me on both Snapchat and Twitter at EvolveNTPDX, or you can email me directly at evolvent_pdx@gmail.com. Thanks again for watching. I'll talk to you guys in the next video series.